All right, guys, welcome back again to another Sticks and Stones Women's Talk Show, where we talk about a lot of juicy topics, real topics, but at the end of the day, with a faith-based perspective. So we're excited that you guys decided to join us again. My name is Muriel, and I'm here again with my amazing co-host.
Hi everyone, I'm Eartha. Always a pleasure and happy to join you guys once again.
Yes.
Hi everyone, it's Madeline. It's good to be with you again.
And we need to make this special, okay? You can't just go right after that, all right? We have here with us, people, a beautiful guest joining us in a conversation where today we're going to be talking about the sister code. So we have another sister joining us at the table. So please let them know your name. You can tell them a little bit about yourself if you'd like. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, my name is Colleen, and I'm a working professional. I work in higher education, and I thank you guys for inviting me. I'm excited to be here, and I'm more than happy to contribute my ideas and thoughts on the topic we plan to talk about today.
Awesome. She sounds like a professional, y'all. She's obviously done these shows before, because as you can see, she's just flowing with it. Praise God. Awesome, awesome. So the last couple of shows, we were talking about the bro code. And we did tell you guys we're going to be doing the sister code. And we want to do that today. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. These points that we're going to be listing today are all, from articles. They're worldly, such and such. But we believe you could learn something from anything. And so as much as we have, that we will be putting together our own faith-based sister code, we just want to start off with what the worldly code is first for sisters. So we're just going to go right into this. We got 10 points, y'all. So track with us, stay with us, and hopefully you guys get a lot from this, all right? We're going to start one. This is similar to actually the bro code. Number 1 is don't date her ex. Don't date her ex. What y'all got to say about that? Because I know we kind of talked about that with the bro code, but I don't know. Maybe you got a little bit extra thoughts, and I know Carly may have something to say.
Sure. I think it's universal. It just feels weird. It's like, how can you move on? That inner circle, you guys want to see each other again, and especially if you guys broke up on bad terms, it's just not a good feeling.
That's true. I was going to actually ask a question because it just popped in my head. What if you are no longer friends? Can you then date their ex? Like, you know what? I'd rather get into this relationship or be in this relationship and lose our friendship. Is that okay then?
It depends how they broke up. Because I feel that there are some people who are friends, like they said, they're like, no, ride or die, no matter what. I will never date your ex. But some of them, especially, like they said, some give her permission, whatever. But if it ended in a really nasty breakup, I don't think I would threaten that territory.
Okay.
At all, whether we're not friends or not, I don't think I would want to put myself through that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And that I think that applies to, like, even if you're like dating somebody, or some of us may call it courting or proving. Sometimes it's not an actual like relationship, but you're getting to know somebody, and maybe that's part, that doesn't work out. Like that could be weird. Like you didn't really actually date, but you were going out on dates, I guess, to get to know the person, but you were never really official, like, yeah, we're engaged, or we're proving, we're getting to know each other, etc. So that's just an interesting point to me, because I'm like, what if you're not friends anymore? You know what I mean?
I think the safest thing is to just stay away from it. It might depend on why you're not friends anymore, but even then, like, issues come up, and like relationships are already messy. Even when there's no baggage or history, and you're just making it that much more complicated unnecessarily. But actually, what I was wondering, because the first point of bro code was don't date his sister or his mother, so how come we skipped over don't date the brother or the father?
Ooh.
Of your friend.
Zang!
Because I noticed that right away. It went to don't date the ex. I'm like, we're missing something here.
The article left that out, sis.
Yeah.
That's a good
point.
point.
Do you think it was on purpose, though? Is there meaning behind it? Or you think it was just an oversight, or you think it was
There's
purposely left out?
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm not sure, but a part of me is wondering if if maybe part of it is because women traditionally haven't always had a choice in their mate. It was just provided to them. Yeah.
Okay, you going deep now,
So,
sister.
It's like you just kind of accept whatever
Right.
is given to you. Whereas the men, even if, like you said in Bible times, it was the parents of the guy who arranged it, but it was still the guy who initiated it by telling his parents, that's the woman I'm interested in. Please go talk to her parents for me.
That's true. And I think what with that, what you said, like don't date the brother or sister, I think a lot of times too, I think another reason why it may not be on there is that usually it's the men that do the approaching and not the woman.
Yes.
So it's kind of be weird to be like, I want to date your brother, or I want to date, or you make the approach where you're communicating to that brother or father that you're interested in them. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like you said, we had this whole entanglements thing that just happened. And
we don't know who approached who. Who approached who though?
Oh, we don't. Some things you just gotta leave it up in the air. Just leave it up there. Yup. And the imaginations could go everywhere. So I would say that could be intentional. Like they purposely left that out. You know what I mean?
It seems like we have enough to support that it probably was left out intentionally.
Yeah, intentionally. Because like the women don't usually do the approach, but nowadays things are different.
Yeah.
Very different. Very different. All right, number 2. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Respect, y'all. Respect. I gave y'all a little too much. I'm going to just save that, okay? I got to preserve the voice. All right? You're killing me. Respect, y'all. I had to bring it out.
Oh, wow.
Respect her privacy. She is comfortable enough to share everything with you, but that doesn't make you the admin of her life. Even if you think she is making a mistake, advise her. Don't try to take control of her life. Respect her decisions and be on her side if she falls. It's her life. Let her live all parts of it. What you got to say about that, Eartha? Respect.
I think a lot of sisters do play that motherly role for each other, but at the same time, you can give her motherly advice without shoving it down her throat. I think that's where the line. A lot of sisters sometimes they break that code. They're like, no, you're gonna do this or whatever. She's not a child. She's your sister. You want to advise her, but you don't want to treat her like a child, because I feel like then that's gonna hurt your friendship, because she might not come to you anymore. You know.
That's good.
So, and then even if be willing to accept that you can give her advice, but she might choose to take it or reject it. You know, you give it, you do your part. She has to be an adult and make her decision. So I think that respect line, you know, it's a fine line. You know, sometimes we go over. You know,
and you can't take that personally if they don't take your advice.
Exactly.
What you sisters got to say about that?
I agree. The concept of respecting her adulthood and her ability to make a decision for herself.
Right.
So again, you're advising her, but you have to ultimately let her be the one to make the final decision.
So you just got to give it that respect. That's with the K, all right? Respect her boundaries. What you guys say about that, Carly?
I agree. I think you can already give her a warning that when you're talking to her, because I do that all the time when I'm talking with friends of mine. I tell them, don't think I'm, overstepping your boundaries. I'm just warning you. I'm telling you this as a friend, because I care about you. That's what I'm telling you. Basically, you just let the person know that I'm not trying to, be authoritative or, try to be a dictatorship, but I just want to let you know, because I care so much, I'm telling you this as a friend, because I don't want you going down the wrong path. But at the end of the day, they're an adult. They can make their own decision.
That's true.
So you can still warn them, because you don't want to have that regret, like, oh, if only if I could have, told her.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Just, warn her about it. But at the end, if she doesn't listen, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's true.
I want to say this about Kylie, though. The minute she starts with that, I'm saying this as a friend, it's not good. What she's going to tell you next is not good.
Obviously, Carlene got the approach right.
Yes,
she got approach down packed.
As a friend.
Yes. You got to come easy.
No, because sometimes you might, the first sentence you just say, and the friend's already looking at you like, what? So that's why you have to give them that warning, like, I'm saying this as a friend, before they give you that look like, don't try to talk over me.
That's true. And I think one of the things with that respect, and I think a lot of us fall victim of it, even if they do mess up and they do fail, whatever it may be, You know, I think a lot of people are always quick to the, I told you so.
Boy.
What did I tell you? But you don't want to listen to me now.
Right.
I was, taking over, so on and so forth. So having that level of respect too, and not shoving that in their face, because it's like, putting more on the wound. You know what I mean? Right. I think a lot of people jump to that a lot, but respect with the T. Number 3, I like this. This one's cute. Dear Diary, shut up. That's nice. That's the nice version. Carlene, why don't you read that one for us?
Okay. It says, she shared her deepest, darkest secrets with you, and you have to be the master lock that can't be opened using any key, but when it comes to that, if she has put so much trust in you to make you a partner in the most confidential information about her life, live up to it and never jabber about it.
Ooh, talk about that.
Yeah, so my thoughts on that, because it's about, especially the part where it says Dear Diary, that really caught my attention. Like people, because we all have secrets that we share with certain people. So you tell that person because you trust them. But when the person now goes gossip about it and tells other people, it's like, I trusted you with my thoughts. And I feel like girls do that all the time. They'll listen to their friends' thoughts and they're like, okay, I feel bad for you. They're giving them advice, and at the end they call somebody, guess what? What this person told me. And it's like, but she trusted you.
Yeah.
That's why she was venting to you. And you go, and that's why she's telling you everything about her that she feels bad about. But you now have the nerve to go and tell somebody else that she probably doesn't want them to know about.
Yeah.
So it's sad. And I feel girls do that all the time. They gossip on each other, even on people that they think they're friends with them.
Yeah. Maudalene, have you ever experienced that, sis?
Nothing.
Deep breaths, that's serious. That's serious business. Take a deep breath.
I can't speak about this right now. But we had come up with the point that women are naturally chatty. And we just like to talk. There are some women who are what Eartha likes to call sideline haters. So they are pretending to be your friend when really they're not. But then you have other people who might have good intentions. They just don't know when to stop talking, and stuff will inadvertently
come out. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good point.
That's a good point. The intention behind it.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not my fault. I wasn't planning on telling people that you just got a tattoo, but I just happened to mention that I picked you up, and they're like, you picked her up where? Why? How? What was she doing there? And
that's
now
a good point.
It kind of became a trap, so
that's good.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. I think the anecdote for that is just stop talking. If that's your biggest pitfall, just stop talking.
That's the straight up advice right there. That's some straight up advice. I like the point that you said that I think women, we're just chatters. So a lot of times naturally. So it's like blah, 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 and we just laid it all out. But Dear Diary, shut up. And I think this is not only for when you guys are friends, but even when you guys are no longer friends. Because a lot of times, sometimes people are no longer have that friendship that they had, and now because they're gone, it's still your duty to keep certain things locked. Like, even though we don't talk no more, we ain't cool like we were, whatever it is, we probably had different, journeys in life. Hey, the Lord brought us separate places, but I think it is ultimately important to still keep the privacy of someone you still no longer talk with. I think that's very important. I think that's a way of spite. Like, oh, you hurt me, I'm gonna tell all your secrets. Yeah. Keep it locked.
Right, and I think, Maudalene, you summarized it pretty well. There are some people there intentionally trying to put your business out.
Yeah.
But there are some people, it's not
that's
their
not
fault.
good.
They're just naturally talking.
That's true.
Use a lollipop. Stick it in your mouth. That means I got a secret I don't want to tell.
Some people are like that. Just be careful what you
tell
say.
them.
That's a good point.
Good point.
You're gonna have to carry around a lot of lollipops if you talk a lot. If that's a good advice. You put a lollipop in it. And 2, the other person on the other end being very mindful of who you're sharing certain things with.
Right.
But I think with women, they just have a gossip mentality. That's just how women are. They just love to gossip.
Yeah. It's not good. That the scriptures talk about in James with the power of the tongue, and it's uncontrollable. You know what I mean? And I think as women, where we fall victim of that, So Dear Diary, quiet. Or as our Haitian fellow parents would say, shadap. That's SHADAP. Shadap. Okay, that's all it is. Number 4. Go ahead, Eartha.
4, be her life jacket.
That's good.
Be a failed exam, a drug addiction, a pregnancy, an abusive relationship, or just bad breath. Don't judge and let go of her. Even if the world talks bad about her, empathize with her. Help her through the dark times. Be the light at the end of the tunnel for her. There are high chances that the world is judging her for failing in life. Don't join the crowd. Instead, help her out.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's that ride or die sister right there. Because a lot of times when you hear ride or die, it's like usually a man and a female relationship.
Right.
But ride or die needs to be sister to sister, man to man, brother to brother.
Right.
Ride or die chick. Ride or die.
And half of the time, I'm going to be honest with you, whatever it is that you're coming to tell her that I told you so, she's already told herself that. She's already looked at the mirror and broke herself down. She doesn't need you adding on top of that. She just needs you to be there to just hold her.
Yeah.
So the judgmental aspect, and that's why I find that a lot of friends do not go to other friends, like not only of the gossip, but they know you're gonna judge. Then I told you this. I told you shouldn't have dated that guy. What you coming? She doesn't need that right now. You know what I mean? That's not what she needs. So yeah.
Carlene, be her life jacket. What you got to say about that?
Yeah, when I read that, what I took out of it is, it's like what Eartha said, be there to comfort her. In fact, she, like you said, Eartha, she really feels bad about herself. So because she feels bad, now what you should ask is, have you learned from it? What did you learn from it? How can we move on? I think the next step to do now is to help her move on, how to proceed. And I think that's the best you can do for her.
Madeline?
Some people just need a hug.
Girl.
They just need you to shut up and listen.
That's a good point.
And I'm thinking of this from a personal experience. There are people who will test you to see how good of a friend you are or if you're going to judge them.
Yeah.
I know, for example, among Christian circles, abortion is a big topic. And
that's a whole show in itself.
At least I think are pro-life. And I remember when I was in college, one of my friends did ask me, hey, what do you think about abortion? And I'm thinking nothing of it, like, oh, like it's against the Bible. And it was after she got the abortion, she told me about it.
Wow.
And I'm like, you are probably looking for someone to be by your side and to be supportive, and you thought you couldn't get that from me. So sometimes we really just have to show our friends how much they care to us, even if we disagree with them on something, but show them that I still love you regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
Because that's what God chose to us.
Love. And that's a tough thing too, because as you said, there's some things that are strictly against the scriptures. And if you truly believe in the scriptures, are you willing to compromise what the scripture says to comfort your friend? Or would you state what the scripture says to benefit your friend? And I think the response to that, again, is approach. Because, again, that person is already in a vulnerable place. They already feel convicted probably. But you want to always be that friend that tells you the truth no matter what. Like, I know this is not what you want to hear right now. I know this is, a tough time, but I have to be honest to say, like, according to the scriptures, this is such and such, but here's some steps, like you said, Carlene, that we can move forward. Here's what you can do, ask for forgiveness, so on and so forth. So that's real.
I think the
go
way
ahead.
someone described it to me is we have to learn how to balance truth and grace. Showing compassion, but also being honest about this is what the scripture says.
Right.
So that, you don't want to do one without the other. I think the way they described it, truth without grace leads to fear, whereas grace without
truth
basically leads people to think that they can do whatever
freedom
they want.
to sin.
It leads to deception. That's the word I'm looking for. And so as believers, we really need to find that middle ground between the two. to be able to encourage and love, but still not compromise the word of God.
That's good.
I think it's the time and place again, because why don't I start with grace? Because that's the time you need it the most. You come to me crying, okay, fine today. Cry on my shoulder, let it all out. Okay, after the grace is over, let's sit down and have a girl, woman to woman talk,
conversation,
so that you don't repeat the same thing over again. I can't keep showing you grace because that's going to lead to your destruction.
Right.
So yes, I'll show you grace today, okay, but even God punishes you sometimes when, so that he corrects you,
That's true.
Because I love you, I can't keep watching you do the same thing and not tell you the truth. I will hold you today. I will cry on my shoulder, but eventually I got to be honest with you and be like, sweetie, no, this is the truth.
And I think a part that's important with that is a lot of times certain things that friends may come to share with us, that is fine that you come to share it with me, but sometimes there are other people that are higher than me that needs to know this situation.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't think, majority of the time, a lot of times they don't want to share that because they know what's coming with that. But it's our responsibility for the safety of the person. Like, I know I love you, so on and so, I'll give you that comfort that you need. I'll be straight up, so on and so forth. But unfortunately, this can't just stay with me. This needs to go to, whether it's a parent, your mentor, your spiritual leader, you know what I mean? Like, certain things need to go beyond you as a friend because you can jeopardize the person and keep a quote unquote secret that shouldn't be really a secret. Like, there's certain people that needs to know, that's higher than me, that knows more than me, that can properly guide you spiritually, because sometimes friends will come to you for professional therapeutic or therapy and counseling, and I'm not licensed for that.
Right.
I'm licensed to be your friend.
Right.
I'm licensed to be your sister overall, over friendship, and, really direct you to the right place that you need to go in order for it to be properly addressed. You know what I mean? Whether there's consequences that may come with it, hey, boo, woman to woman, you gotta face your consequences.
Right.
But that's a heavy point about being her life jacket. I feel like we already going into the scripture stuff, even before we finish this one. But that's definitely a point to share. One of the things before we move on to point number 5 I wanted to share is when you said sometimes people need you to just be quiet. And I've seen a lot of times as women, like you said, we like to chat so much, and people will come to us with problems or whatever it is, be like something personal, and somehow you find a way to make it about you. Like, it's not about you, boo. Like, give it some time. Like, don't redirect this comes to, again, attention getters. Like, they always find a way to be like, oh my gosh, like, wow, with me, I was, such and such, and it's like, I'm not talking about you right now. I'm talking about me. Can I just have my moment? So I think it's very important to be mindful that when people are talking about them and their issues, let them do that, and don't find a way to put yourself into the situation. Take the attention off of yourself and let it be on your sister.
Only if you have an experience that might help her. You can
true.
share, but that's about it.
That's
Let
true.
her
Unless it could help.
And leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Do you guys think it's a competition then when they start bringing it on themselves? Like, well, this reminds me of me. Especially if they're not helping her, they're talking about themselves. It goes back to women being competitive again.
Oh, yeah.
That could be part of it.
The competition is always
underlying.
You know what I mean?
Hiding in disguise. That's true. Number 5, no calling names. Let's see. No calling names. Maudlene, please read that for us.
It says, calling names while making merry is okay, but if you show her down in front of other friends or family, that is something that can't be forgotten easily. It's not just name calling, you see. She might not be an expert in technology, but she might have a better fashion sense than you. Don't show her down for not knowing something, especially in front of others.
That's
and
good.
I have seen this done.
Ooh.
I have seen this done. It is so mean and disrespectful and hurtful, to be very honest. And we really just need to stop.
That's true. I agree with that. What else, unless you guys want to add to that? I think this point is very,
I feel like as her friend who's closest to her, you know her deepest weaknesses more than everybody. So to be using that weakness and putting forth in front of the world, you're exposing her. And I really feel that you, as a friend, there's something about love. You should be covering her ignorance, not exposing it, you know, because love covers, you know.
Got it.
So I feel like in this, by calling her names and everything, you're basically doing to her the same thing the world is doing to her. She doesn't need one more of that.
That's true.
So
That's true.
yeah.
That's good.
I think.
Go ahead.
Or did you want to?
Oh yeah, I wanted to add. Thank you. It was basically, I feel like when you get calling her names, it's now that when she hears a word, hears it, she's gonna believe them, because you, who's her close friend that you trusted, if you're telling her this is who you are, she's gonna be like, well, if the person I trusted calls me that, well, then everybody else who has called me that must be true then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just think it's not good, not right at all.
To piggyback off of that point, I think so many times when we think of sisterhood or the sister code, we think of our friends, but really this is like a relationship that you have with other women. And so I'm thinking of mothers to their daughters. When you are constantly trash talking your kids, the verbal abuse, the name calling, like you said, when they hear that at school, when they hear that from their peers, they will believe it, because that is the same thing that they are hearing at home from someone who is an authority over them.
That's true.
Be very mindful to not do that, not just with your sisters, but really with anyone, but especially mothers. Please don't do that with your daughters.
Didn't we say there's power in the tongue?
That's true.
So it's like you're putting it forth out there, you're giving it life, you're giving it power.
Yeah.
Now, especially with the person authority over you, with like the mother. The friend is one thing, but your mother,
Yeah.
it's a whole different ballgame.
And I think that point right there is basically, it's a generational issue that we as women of color, families of color, experience throughout our generations, because we were called all types of names.
Yes.
You know what I mean? To the point where there's certain words that people still use till this day that's very degrading to us as people of color. And so really what it is something that becomes innate, that even though you're not intentionally trying to do or say certain things, it's just a part of what you've been exposed to, how you grew up, so on and so forth. So it's only normal for you to call a person such a thing. You know, to the point where we've gotten to a place in society where certain words that were derogatory has become a word of endearment, right? Where we use that as a positive thing, like, oh, you know, and it's like many years or a few years back, that was like uncalled for. But now that's a way we communicate to, you know, address one another with no hesitation nor any consideration of it being disrespectful.
I even heard somebody saying, well, we've taken the power out of that word. The word is still the same word. It still means the same thing. That's, you can tell yourself that, so you can continue using it.
Yeah, you call yourself that.
It's still the same word.
Agreed.
You know?
Fully agreed.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. We on number 5, y'all. And the time is already. Can I get some organs, please? The time is already coming to an end. I swear, like, I feel like these times just be running by so fast. I don't know where the time is for us. But let me go over the 5 points that we went over. Number 1, don't date her ex. Number 2, respect with a K. Number 3, dear diary, shada. Okay. Number 4, be her life jacket. And number 5, no calling names. If it's not the name that her mother and father gave her at birth, or anything that is equivalent to that, such as beautiful, gorgeous, smart, intelligent, all of those things, do not call her out of her name nor expose her weaknesses to friends and family members. So hopefully you guys are getting a lot from this. I'm pretty sure there's many of you guys that has experienced some of these sister codes that's been broken, whether it's you that did it or somebody who did it to you. Either way, it's never okay, but we live and we learn. If you've done it before, dust yourself off. Try again with a new sister, so on and so forth. But we need to know how to better, you know, live with one another as women, as sisters in society, whether I know you, whether you don't know me, that mutual respect that we just need unspokenly so that we can begin to build each other up as women and not tear each other down, because we have a lot of that going on around us already. So I hope you guys have been entertained, blessed, edified, motivated, whatever it may be. We're definitely going to have to come with a part 2 for this, but I'm hoping that the next time we do this, we'll be able to come in with the scriptures that we want to bring out to create our own sister code. So if there's any other ones that, you guys want to suggest, definitely put them in the comments, put them on the page, wherever it is that you're watching from. Definitely throw in some of your points and your ideas as well of some of the sister codes that, that should be known to us as sisters as a whole, universally. So thank you again, guys, for joining us. I hope you guys enjoy your day, your night, your morning, whatever time of the day it is. Enjoy it. And hopefully you tune back in for our next show and episode. God bless, guys.